Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. You ever notice how a woman can look at you for just 1 second, and suddenly your stomach tightens as if she just read your entire soul? Or how a single cold shift in her tone can make you question your worth, your confidence, even your identity? Men pretend they don't feel it, but they do. And the truth is, no one ever taught you what that moment really means. No one prepared you for the emotional gravity women naturally carry, or how deeply their reactions can bend the direction of a man's life. But I will, because you deserve the truth no one ever gave you. Most men grow up learning to chase approval, from parents, from coaches, from teachers, and eventually from women. And before you even realize it, a woman's opinion becomes the mirror you judge yourself by. If she's warm, you feel valuable. If she pulls away, you crumble inside, quietly, secretly, pretending nothing changed. But a woman's warmth is not validation, and her coldness is not a sentence. This is the first truth every man should know. Women respond to your emotional center, not your emotional desperation. Women feel energy in a way that men often underestimate. If you're nervous, they feel it. If you're clingy, they feel it. If you're unsure of yourself, they feel it before you even speak. And they're not judging you, they're interpreting you. They're trying to understand whether your presence is a storm or a shelter. Every woman is scanning, instinctively, to see if a man's emotional foundation can hold the weight of her inner world. Because the truth no one tells men is this: a woman doesn't fall for your looks, your money, or your charm first. She falls for your stability. The stability you radiate without saying a single word. But most men go wrong here. Instead of building inner strength, they perform outer strength. They pretend to be unbothered. They pretend to be confident. They pretend they don't need anyone. But she can feel the cracks behind your mask. She sees the insecurity hidden under the jokes, the fear buried under the calm posture, the hunger for validation disguised as being nice. And the more you hide it, the more she pulls away, because she senses you're not being real with yourself. Women don't want perfection. They want truth. And the most terrifying truth is often the one men avoid. Emotional honesty begins with you, not with her. When a man doesn't know who he is, a woman feels lost with him. When a man suppresses his needs, a woman feels disconnected from him. When a man chases instead of choosing, a woman feels unsafe around him. Not physically unsafe, emotionally unsafe. Because if your worth depends on her, she can never relax into you. A woman's love isn't earned through effort, it's unlocked through self-respect. When you hold your boundaries, you activate her trust. When you speak your truth calmly, you activate her attraction. When you know your value, you activate her desire to stay. That's the part men were never taught. A woman follows the man who leads himself first. And the moment you understand that, everything about women becomes clearer. Her reactions, her signals, even her silence. Nothing is random. Nothing is mysterious. Everything is a reflection of the energy you bring into her world. There's a moment every man experiences but never talks about. The moment when a woman shifts. One day she's warm, curious, leaning into you. Then suddenly, without warning, her energy feels distant. Her messages get shorter. Her voice turns colder. Her eyes don't linger the way they used to. And instantly, your mind spirals into questions you never dare to say out loud. Did I do something? Did she lose interest? Did she find someone else? But here's the truth. Most men never learn. That shift isn't always about you. It's about what you awakened in her. Women feel deeply, but they don't always express directly. When a woman pulls back, she's not punishing you. She's observing you. She's waiting to see whether you collapse, cling, or maintain who you are. Because that moment of distance, no matter how uncomfortable, is her way of testing the emotional ground you stand on. Not consciously, not manipulatively, but instinctively. Women don't trust words. They trust patterns. They trust consistency. They trust how you handle uncertainty. And the moment she shifts is the moment your true nature is revealed. Most men react. They panic text. They apologize for things they didn't even do. They over-explain, over-invest, over-promise. In their fear of losing her, they lose themselves. And this is where everything breaks. Not because she wants it to, but because she feels your emotional center collapsing. She feels the weight of your insecurity pressing against her. And nothing kills attraction faster for a woman than feeling like she now has to carry the emotional burden a man is supposed to hold within himself. Here's the truth: no one teaches men. Women are drawn to men who can hold tension without breaking. The tension of silence, the tension of uncertainty, the tension of not knowing exactly how she feels today. When you can stay calm in those moments, not pretending, not acting detached, but genuinely grounded, a woman feels something powerful. She feels safe. She feels inspired. She feels pulled toward you, because your steadiness awakens something in her, something ancient, instinctual, magnetic. But steadiness doesn't mean coldness. Men often misunderstand this. They think being stoic means shutting down, being emotionless, robotic. No. A man who disconnects emotionally isn't strong. He's numb. And women don't trust numb men. She wants a man who feels, but isn't controlled by his feelings. A man who cares, but doesn't chase. A man who listens, but doesn't betray his own boundaries. She wants a man who knows the difference between love and attachment, desire and desperation, patience and passivity. When she shifts, don't panic. Breathe. Return to your center. Move with intention, not fear. Speak with clarity, not insecurity. If she pulls back, let the space reveal the truth instead of trying to force an answer. A woman who genuinely values you will come closer when she feels your emotional consistency. A woman who is only half invested will drift, and that is a blessing, not a loss. Because the biggest mistake men make is trying to hold on to a woman who isn't ready to be held. When you remain grounded in your own value, everything changes. Her silence becomes a signal, not a threat. Her distance becomes data, not rejection. And instead of chasing reassurance, you start attracting connection. Because a woman can only meet you at the emotional depth you have built within yourself. There's a truth about women that feels almost unfair until you finally understand it. Women fall for men in the silence between your actions, not the actions themselves. Men pour energy into what they do. Women feel the intention behind what you do. And intention is something you can't fake, hide, or disguise. It slips through your tone, your timing, your choices, your presence. It exposes whether you're coming from strength or from fear. And this is why so many men lose women they could have kept and chase women they were never meant to have. A woman doesn't measure you by gifts, compliments, or effort. She measures you by the emotional state you operate from. If you approach her with anxiety, she feels pressured. If you approach her with insecurity, she feels burdened. If you approach her with entitlement, she feels suffocated. But if you approach her with grounded certainty, without arrogance, without desperation, something inside her softens. She feels safe enough to let her feminine energy come forward. Most men never see this shift because they're so focused on getting her, they forget to let her feel them. This is why confidence has so much weight, even when it's quiet. Real confidence is not loud, it's not flashy, it's not a performance. It's the way a man stands without needing to prove himself. It's the way he listens without rushing to impress. It's the way he speaks without trying to convince. Real confidence is a man who is not afraid of losing something that isn't aligned with him. And women can sense that. They're wired to read subtle emotional cues because connection is their native language. What you think you hide, she feels instantly. A woman wants to trust you, not in the way most men think, but in a much deeper way. She wants to trust your emotional leadership. She wants to know that your values guide your choices, not temporary feelings. She wants to know that your self-respect is intact, even when things get hard. A woman can love you deeply and still lose attraction if she feels you've lost yourself. Because once a man stops leading himself, a woman feels unsafe following him. And here's the most painful truth. Women are more attracted to the man you're becoming than the man you currently are. Not because you're not enough, but because growth is masculine energy. A man who pursues purpose becomes magnetic. A man who stands for something becomes irresistible. A man who expands himself emotionally, spiritually, mentally. He becomes the kind of man a woman wants to invest her heart in, not because she wants perfection, but because she wants progress she can feel. When a woman senses that you're drifting through life without a mission, she unconsciously pulls back. She doesn't want to anchor herself to a man who isn't anchored in himself. But when she feels that your life has direction, even if you're still building, still learning, still leveling up, she becomes drawn to you at a level you can't manufacture with charm or technique. And the irony is this: the more you try to win her, the less she feels you. The more you focus on becoming a man with depth, standards, and self-respect, the more naturally she gravitates toward you. Attraction is not about performing for a woman, it's about becoming the man who doesn't need to perform. Because here's the real secret: a woman isn't looking for a man to complete her. She's looking for a man who completes his own life and invites her into it. There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes something he should have known all along. Women don't fall in love with the version of you that tries to impress them. They fall in love with the version of you that makes you feel powerful, not dominant, not superior. Powerful in the sense that you are rooted in who you are, unshakable in what you believe, and unapologetic in how you move through the world. A man who owns himself invites a woman to relax into her truest form. But most men lose themselves the moment they meet a woman they really like. Their posture changes, their voice shifts, their boundaries dissolve. Their identity gets rearranged in real time as they morph into whatever they think she will approve of. They stop being the man who caught her attention and become the man who is terrified to lose her. And a woman feels that instantly. She feels when a man's self-respect is leaking. She feels when he's abandoning his standards to please her. She feels when his desire for her is stronger than his discipline for himself. Here's the paradox. The moment you sacrifice your masculine integrity to keep a woman, she loses the very feeling that made her want you in the first place. Because attraction is not born from comfort, it's born from polarity. It's born from a woman feeling your emotional backbone, your direction, your strength of character. When you're too available, too accommodating, too predictable, she doesn't feel polarity. She feels responsibility, and responsibility kills desire. A woman doesn't want to lead the emotional rhythm. She doesn't want to decide the tone of the connection. She doesn't want to carry the weight of your uncertainty. Even the strongest, most independent woman wants a man whose presence feels like a compass, steady, reliable, guiding. That doesn't mean controlling her. It means controlling yourself. It means having a vision for your life that doesn't shrink in her shadow. It means being a man who doesn't get lost in emotion, but also doesn't run from it. When a man is rooted in his purpose, his energy shifts. He speaks differently. He listens differently. He carries himself differently. And a woman feels that expansion. She feels inspired by it. She feels drawn toward it. Because deep down, every woman wants to be in the warm, gravitational pull of a man who is becoming more powerful in his life, not for her, but for himself. And here's a truth women rarely say out loud. They want to be chosen, not prioritized over your entire life. Choosing her means valuing her deeply. Prioritizing her above your purpose means losing yourself. And once you lose yourself, she loses the emotional North Star that attracted her to you. The more you understand this, the more you see how women move. When she tests you, it's not to make you fail, it's to feel your strength. When she challenges you, it's not disrespect, it's emotional calibration. When she pulls back, she's checking whether your sense of self evaporates in her absence. A man who stays grounded through all of this becomes unforgettable, not because he's perfect, but because he's centered. A woman falls in love with a man whose life has structure, whose boundaries are real, whose values don't shake under pressure. She falls in love with a man who doesn't chase, but chooses, who doesn't beg, but leads, who doesn't break, but evolves. And when you embody that energy, you don't just attract women, you attract the right woman. There comes a point in a man's life where everything he thought he understood about women suddenly clicks into place. It often happens after heartbreak, after betrayal, after losing someone he thought he couldn't live without. Because pain has a way of stripping illusions off your soul. And when the noise quiets, what remains is the truth men spend years ignoring. A woman doesn't fall for what you give her. She falls for who you become while giving it. Most men try to love women the way they wish to be loved, through logic, problem solving, showing up, doing things, proving themselves. But women don't fall in love through logic. They fall in love through emotional presence, through the way you look at them when you understand them without words, through how you stay grounded when they're overwhelmed, through how you respond instead of react. Women don't remember what you bought them. They remember how you made them feel, and whether they felt safe in your energy or suffocated by it. And here's the truth you were never taught. Women are emotional amplifiers. If you bring insecurity, they feel more insecure. If you bring tension, they feel more tense. If you bring calm certainty, their entire nervous system softens. Women sync with your internal state long before they sync with your external actions. That's why a man who is inconsistent inside produces inconsistency in a woman. Her mood, her trust, her attraction, everything shifts. Not because she's dramatic, but because she's responding to a man whose emotional foundation wobbles under pressure. Women need a man who can create emotional stability, not emotional chaos. And stability doesn't come from suppressing your feelings. It comes from mastering them. It comes from being able to sit with discomfort without acting out. It comes from having boundaries, purpose, and values that are so rooted in who you are that no woman, no matter how beautiful, can shake them. Because the minute she senses that your world revolves around her, she loses the gravity that pulls her into yours. But when a man stands in his truth, calm, self-respecting, emotionally aware, something profound happens. A woman relaxes, she opens, she trusts. Not because he forces her, but because his energy gives her permission to be in her feminine fully. And when a woman feels that masculine presence, she doesn't just fall for the man, she falls for the way she feels when she's with him. If there's one thing every man needs to hear, it's this. Women don't leave the man they love. They leave the man they no longer recognize. The moment you abandon your purpose, your boundaries, your personal power, she feels the shift. But when you reclaim yourself, when you rebuild your strength, when you rise from your own ashes, she feels that too. And that's when you become the man women don't forget. So let this be your turning point. Stop chasing female approval and start cultivating masculine identity. Stop molding yourself to women and start becoming a man women naturally align with. Stop trying to be chosen and start choosing the life, the mission, and the standards that make you powerful. Because once you become a man who knows who he is, a woman doesn't complete your world. She complements it.